Let's just discuss the biggest story of the week. I'd like to hear what you guys think is the biggest story of the week. I personally think it is the discovery from the New York Times that the Hunter Biden laptop is really his.
What?
Yes.
They had a huge, big story about that, right?
Well, not really a huge, big story, but it was in the paper.
Was it buried in another story about something else?
What?
Shocking.
I don't know what you're even talking about. So
I love the Post's take on the New York Times revelation all of a sudden.
The headline was, excuse the language, but are you S-ing me? No, they're not. No, they're not. So the New York Times have authenticated the laptop emails. Now, we don't know how they authenticated them. I mean, the Post, they told us how they authenticated, how it all happened, everything. These guys were just like, no, we authenticated them. How? Maybe you can, maybe we should demand from you what you demanded from everybody else. And they gave in the first story. But now what they're doing is they're just kind of burying this story and not really even talking about, okay, so this is true. But since it's true, doesn't that mean our president is compromised? And by the way, I think this goes along with that story. Could we please get, I believe it was, I don't have my sheets back, but I believe it was from yesterday, the president talking about a new law that he's passed for revenge porn. Listen to this.
So we established a new civil rights cause of action for those whose intimate images were shared on the public screen. Mm-hmm. How many times have you heard, I'll bet everybody knows somebody somewhere along the line, that in an intimate relationship, what happened was the guy takes a revealing picture of his naked friend or whatever in a compromising position. Mm-hmm. And then, literally, in a sense, blackmails or mortifies that person.
Yeah, mortifies them.
Send it out, put it online.
Mortifying.
Okay. So,
how many times you've been mortified by someone?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah.
I was almost mortified by my best friend. That's why you're my best friend now, because you haven't mortified me.
Right. I hope not to.
Yeah, thank you.
I've heard, and I don't know if you guys, how much you've looked into this, but I've heard there's a way to avoid naked pictures of yourself coming out. Which is like, to not take them, I guess is one way.
What? Well, come on.
Can you do that, though? It's almost impossible.
Sure.
We all know one or two people that this has happened to.
I know hundreds. Hundreds of people.
All right. Do you know anyone?
I do not.
Okay. Neither do I. Do you know?
There's a whole subdivision.
Hang on just a second. Look at Sarah's face in the control room. Do you know people? Is it you? Okay. No, it's not you. Thank God. Is it you know somebody
who got revenge porn?
Open your mic. Come on, cough it up.
More information.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you their name.
No, I wouldn't tell it. No, I don't want that. But what happened?
It didn't go well.
No?
Did you say to this individual, what are you, stupid?
Well, yes.
Okay.
But, guys are guys.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Wait.
Is she stereotyping an entire
it's
gender?
Okay. It's okay. It's a guy.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a guy. Yep.
But I guess girls are girls because it takes two to tango there. So, so what happened? I mean, was she mortified?
What he's asking is which site is it on?
Right.
That's what he's asking.
No.
Okay. So, do you know more than one person?
No, just one.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah. She's like, no.
So even with her story, it still doesn't prove Joe Biden right because he said one or two.
Yeah.
So I guess it could be just
we
one.
all know. I mean, we all know.
We all know. We don't all know.
No, we don't know.
We don't all know.
I don't know people who, well, I do now. I was going to say, I don't think I know people that are like, 2 or 3 steps from those people.
We've read stories about this, obviously. We've done stories on the show about this happening. And it's, look, if you go down this road and you have these pictures taken of you, this stuff can happen to you, but that doesn't mean it's right. It should be right. It should be stopped. But again, it's just it's not like what was it, Aaron Andrews, who had the pictures taken like through a keyhole and it was a big scandal several years ago. That's different than willingly participating in photos. That part of it you could stop. You could just not do that one, right? Like this is not that you just stop it before it starts, kids. Give it up by not taking it up.
Is there anybody, I guess these are just the people that you would meet at a gym that none of us would walk into, right? Okay, right. I mean, if doctor's like, you have got to go to the gym. I'm writing you a prescription. You're dead in 20 minutes if you don't go to the gym. I'd consider it. But I still wouldn't walk into one of those gyms where everybody looks great.
Right.
Okay? So is it only those people? Because
I don't think
I'm
so.
disgusted by myself.
Oh, God, yes.
And I've always been disgusted. I mean, even when I was never in shape, but even when I was thin.
Right.
No.
Yeah, and we're disgusted by you, too. We have a lot in common.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold it just a sec. No, it was supposed to.
We're sharing the experience, right? That's what we were trying to.
Okay, all right.
We also feel the same way about
by the way, Joe Biden, he does know one or two people. He knows his son, and he knows the mother of a couple of his grandchildren.
Oh, gosh. He really thinks this is just like a super common thing that everyone goes through. It's like, no, not everyone's kid is on crack.
But I like
that's
the way
just not. I mean, it might happen to you, and I hope it hasn't. But like, he thinks this is just normal life. Like, of course, you're just dealing. Your money's funneling back and forth to the Chinese government, and your kid's on crack.
It happens.
It happens to everybody.
We all know somebody who's been in a honey trap with a Japanese spy, or Chinese spy.
Come on,
right?
Come on, guys. Who's with me?
Come on. We all know somebody named Fang Fang. Am I right? Okay. So could we play that again? Because listen how he describes the internet. Listen to this.
So we established a new civil rights cause of action for those whose intimate images were shared on the public screen.
Stop.
How many times?
On the public screen. Is it the one in Times Square? Is that our public screen?
It's shared on that public screen.
That is amazing.
I totally missed that the first time. That's fantastic.
That's what I heard the first time. That's the only thing I heard the first time. I'm like, wait, the public screen?
Remember there was some Republican, again, like in the early days of the internet, I think he called it the inner tubes or something, and people have mocked him for decades over this.
Yeah.
He's calling it in 2022 the public screen, and no one says anything?
Yeah. It was like, you remember when it sounded like you were a really old person when Al Gore was like calling it the information superhighway?
Yes.
This is 100 times worse.
Right. At least information superhighway is, I mean, it's cheesy, but it could be theoretically kind of with a public screen is not.
They put them on those peep show kinescopes. Drop a nickel in, and pretty soon you're seeing these cards flip of a friend that we all know.
We all know someone who's been leaked to a kinescope.
My son's been on kinescope after kinescope.
I love, too, by the way, on this Hunter Biden story, how the guy who owned the repair shop was just turned into this liar for a while.
Oh, yeah.
He lost his business. He'd lost his business, had to leave the state.
Mm-hmm. Delaware, by the way,
right.
The president's state.
Yes, and now it's like, oh yeah, he was right the whole time. Oh, okay. Oh, let's move on. I guess we just move on.
But isn't that what we do?
It is.
I mean, I was just telling somebody the story of Tokyo Rose the other day. This woman served 2 prison sentences in 2 different countries. One in Japan. Then she comes home because she was an American citizen. She comes home. She faces another prison sentence. And then they let her out in the 50s, and they're like, oh, yeah, I guess you weren't that Tokyo Rose. Sorry about that. And didn't really even say sorry, just like, oh, yeah. Nobody in the press does it. Like 1976, the president is like, hey, by the way, we should officially apologize to you. And still, people don't know the story. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We just move on. Oh, that guy was destroyed.
Darn it.
Oh,
it's same thing with Jewell. What was his name?
Jewell?
Richard Jewell.
Yeah. Well, may I just again bring up where I started? This story we shouldn't move on from because the president is compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless the Chinese have been calling him up and go, we've got videotape with him, Fang. You know, they were eating Chinese food and bathing in Chinese money. We got it all on tape. And he's like, don't worry about it. The New York Times will dismiss it. I mean, maybe he's not compromised because he's been immunized, if you will, from all of this stuff because we all know.
Yeah.
Where are we on this?
It's true. And we should also point out that there was there was a significant story that broke a week before the election. I mean, this is when they took the story and they took the New York Post, or the nation's oldest newspaper, off of Twitter. They weren't allowed to tweet about it. They weren't allowed to promote the story. It was a week before the election. I think it was Media Research Center that did a poll later on.
16%.
16% of Biden voters said they would reconsider their vote if they knew about the Hunter Biden story at the time. So, I mean, that would be more than enough to change the election results if that were true. I mean, some of that might be second guessing or whatever, but still, it was a story that absolutely should have been out there and was suppressed.
Yes.
And it was, all of them, misinformation, malinformation. It was all of it at the same time. They demeaned the people who were telling the story. They hid the story from people. It was really bad.
Then, so let me ask you, when is America going to stand up and say to these institutions, shut the F up, shut up. You don't have a right to deem me a messenger of dismiss or malinformation. You don't have a right to do that because you get it wrong all the time on pretty big things. Because you did that, we are now looking at possibly a global war, a financial collapse, and China buddying up with Russia, coming out against us, and we've got a president in office who's taking money from the Chinese. I mean, shut the hell up. Shut up. Shut the pie hole. You have no right to tell me. This is why freedom of speech is so important. Because as our founders said when they were going against the Sedition Act, they had this great debate on it. You should read the words of the founders as they debated back and forth. They were so against anybody silencing speech that they said, even if they are knowingly lying in the press, we cannot suppress it. And they said, the government, what? We're going to have the government say the institution that the press is supposed to stand up against and check, we're going to let the government tell us, no, you can't question that, or that's misinformation or malinformation. What happens when that story is right? Read the words. What happens if that story turns out to be right? So what right do we have to say that? Because it might be right.
Yeah, the government should have no role whatsoever in that process. And if they do, they're out in front. Jen Psaki's out in front of the press corps every day saying that these institutions should censor people who give out the information they don't like.
And through ESG, they're all in it. They're all in with the government. When are we going to say, I don't care what you say? I mean, they have lost so much. There is no credibility left with any of them. Any of them. So why does it still work? Honestly, why does it still work?
Does it, though? It's starting to fade.
I think it does. I mean, look at ESG. Look how many Republicans are still saying, that's the free market. No, it's not. Oh, they won't have the power to do that. Yes, they do. What are you talking about? It's because they believe the press. They believe the press, and they're unwilling to look outside of the box. What Hunter Biden did was so massive that people wanted to dismiss it, and it was something that you were like, okay, my guy, he wouldn't. I mean, that's outrageous. That would have come out long ago if that were true. No, they're hiding gigantic things out in the open.